Well, a big hello and welcome back everybody who's joining me for the Making Zen Artist series. We're connecting on a daily basis with some of the different artists who are participating in the Making Zen Online Retreat, which starts next week from Monday the 27th through to Friday the 31st. Each day we've got different artists who are sharing their different techniques and workshops, and it's just so much fun. We've got all kinds of different textile artists, from macrame artists, embroidery artists, and everything in between. And today we're going to be talking with Natalie from Embroidery by Nat, and let's see if I can get her on the line, so to speak. And here she is. Hello.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to connect. And it's been, what, about a year since we last chatted?
Yes?
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's amazing how quickly that time goes, huh?
Yes, it's crazy. I was participating in your Making Zen last year, and thank you so much for inviting me again. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, well, the wonderful thing, not only am I thrilled, but everybody else is as well, because everyone had a wonderful time stitching along to you last year. And this time you're back, and not only are you sharing your beautiful stitching techniques, but you're also adding an extra dimension. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Usually I do just embroidery on the fabric and that's it. But this year I'm experimenting with watercolors, and I combined embroidery with watercolors on fabric, and it was really fun. How to say, sorry, experience. It was really fun experience, and it was very relaxing, and it brings me so much joy, and it makes my project um, to so I'm able to finish them faster, and it adds additional dimension, and it really um, make it really beautiful pieces. So this is my project for Making Zen.
It's so cute. I absolutely love it.
So as you can see, I uh, filled this watercolor for the backgrounds over here, for this window glass, and for this part of window, and I added little bricks around with watercolors as well, and I really like how it turned out.
Yeah.
um, Sometimes when you start watercoloring on fabric, you don't know how it will look, because it's really hard to control the watercolors, because it's based on water, and the fabric is soaking the water really fast. So you need to know how to control the water in order to achieve different effects. Like this effect is wet on dry technique, which I teach in my workshop, and I also show um, different technique which is easier. It's wet on wet. And here's another example of my project with this technique. I did watercolor for the background, and the entire fabric was wet, so I was able to achieve this gradient.
Mhm.
And then you do all your stitching, and this is how it looks.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we're looking at, okay, so beautiful ombre background, and then you've done all of the stitching on top. What a delightful combination to get, like you say, you kind of can fill in areas with color and kind of texture, I guess, to a certain degree with the watercolors, and then you can come back in and highlight the areas with the stitching.
Yes, you can
I
do different kind of stitching on top of that fabric. So you can make pieces of fabric just with those bright gradients that you like. use the colors that you like. It's a great way to do some different transitions. It's like in this area you can often see the those lights on the, I don't know how to how to say it in English, on this in the sky at night.
Oh, yes. Yes, like the Northern Lights, the
Yes,
Aurora
and so
Borealis.
so you can make a northern lights if you want. You can make just a simple gradients with a few colors and do some and make some nice and bright fabric for slow stitching projects like you guys like to do.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. And it's because last time you joined us, you had these beautiful floral patterns and it was on the black background, which was incredibly striking and just very beautiful. And now you're painting on the background. And so in some senses, it seems like there's a big transition or a big difference between last year and this year. What inspired you to try watercolor and integrate that with the embroidery? Was it just an idea that you had, or you were like, I'd really like to try and do something a bit different? Or
No, last year I was learning watercolor, just regular classic watercolor on fabric, on paper, sorry. And I like to do like different botanic pictures like this. Let me show you. So this is, I was practicing here, so different petals and leaves. And sometimes I like to draw something just with watercolors. But watercolor is my second passion after embroidery, and this time I'd like it to combine those two passions and create something interesting.
yeah,
So that's how it
that's how it came
appeared.
about. Which
Yeah.
and that totally makes sense. You know, if you've got a studio and you're working on a little bit of something over here and then doing something different over here, it kind of makes sense that you're going to connect those dots, so to speak, and be like, why don't I put this with this? It makes perfect sense. And so, with your watercolor as your second passion, because that's in some senses, it's also as relaxing and just contemplative experience with working with water. You can't rush it. If you do, you end up with a big mess, so you really got to slow down and enjoy the process. Not to mention it's really fun just watching the way the watercolor dries on paper. Quite often you can't anticipate how it's going to like look after it's dried. So that's really beautiful that you've combined those two. So is watercolor, is that a new passion for you, or that's something that you've been doing for quite some time?
I've been trying for quite some time, but I didn't like develop my skills. I just tried and left it for later. Like maybe sometimes I will draw again. Like, I went to the workshop for the first time, so it wasn't so scary to start because, when the teacher is guiding you through entire process, it's not so scary if you are trying it by yourself at home without any skills. It may be really intimidating and scary. So
Mm.
that's what I did. I went to a workshop. So this is like an example. Like if you did never tried watercolor on fabric, just why not to watch some workshop and try to do something during this workshop and see how it goes. If you like it or not, you'll definitely like it.
Well, I think it's lovely because you've got the opportunity, like you say, to transfer those skills from working on paper to working in fabric. And because most of the Making Zen people love working with fabric, it's a really nice way of adding an additional layer that is kind of quick in a sense. And your through your guidance, you take away the fear for anybody who might be trying this for the first time at home. If working with watercolors full stop, and then applying that same thing onto fabric, because like you say, if you don't know the tips and tricks, it can turn into a mess really quickly.
Yeah, you can make your project like a disaster, and you will never try it again because you just don't know what you did wrong. That's why I was learning on my mistakes. So I'm one of those that tries and then watch some tutorials. But I don't stop. I not the ones that stop right away and throw it and I don't like it. I hate it. Like, so I'm looking for solutions, and I was looking a lot of video tutorials, articles, and I was before making this workshop, I was working on my own mistakes, and I fixed all of them and noted everything, and I did a huge research. So I have a huge list of tips which you can get in my free PDF that will be under my video, and if you will be following all of them, you will be making really great projects. With watercolor you can make a few layers. Like, the first layer can be just a gradient with wet on wet technique. Just let it dry, see if you like the color, because it becomes slightly lighter than in the beginning. On the wet fabric it looks brighter, but when it dries it can be a little bit muted, maybe 50% even muted than it was before. So and you see, if you like it, you can add one more layer with gradient, with brighter colors. Again, let it dry. You need to have patience, because you can let it dry naturally on the sun or just warm air, or you can use a hair dryer. And it will make the process a little bit faster, and you can make another layer with wet on dry technique, with more precise objects, and make sharp lines and everything on top of that. So it can be a lot of layers, the same way like you do watercolor on paper, but on fabric it's obviously will be behaving differently, because fabric is soaking water very quick, so you need to control your hand. So just don't afraid to practice on some pieces of fabric that you don't need. Just practice on this and see how it behaves, how it works in your hands, with your brush that you have, with your fabrics that you have, because different fabric will be soaking water differently, and with your watercolor paint that you actually have, because I have this kind of paint. It's a professional paint. I brought with me from Ukraine, so you can find some cheaper watercolors, maybe in Dollarama, and see how they behave. So it's different materials, different effects. So experiment and see.
Yeah,
How it.
exactly. And I love how you've taken your interest and not be put off by, the first time you did it, it wasn't how you had hoped. And instead of just kind of like going, oh, well, I guess that's not for me, you kind of continue to research and look into it and find different ways to make it work. And, that really, some of it's a little bit of excitement, isn't it? It's almost like being a scientist. It's like, well, that didn't work. So if that didn't work, maybe I could try this. Or, there's different ways that you can kind of keep exploring and seeing how you can get it to work. Something that came to mind when you were talking about all of that is, if you are experimenting at home, remember to wash your fabrics first, because new fabrics quite often have a layer. If you're just kind of using stuff from a fabric store, it can have a layer of sizing over the top of it, which kind of repels water. So if you want your colors to absorb into the fabric, always make sure that you're washing it first. So
Yes,
that's
this is
just
one more tip I can add to my list because I didn't include it, and I really noticed a little bit of little rounded shape drop on the fabric, which I didn't see. It was completely white, but when I added some watercolor, I saw it. It's like it doesn't observe. I noticed that it doesn't observe the watercolor and it stays white as it was.
mm,
So
which
yeah.
you could use to your advantage if you wanted super white areas. But yeah, just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, yeah, I remember I went to a workshop for painting on fabric with different kind of paint. I don't remember. It was similar to watercolor, and they use some liquid that you can uh, uh, like draw the shape. And this
Mm,
watercolor or what is paint, I don't know, don't remember what kind of paint it is. It will not go farther than those borders. So you can create borders and
mm,
work with that. But I will find out which one it
yeah,
was, and maybe I will use next time in my projects. I will experiment and test it and see how it works on my fabric, because that fabric was not cotton, it was something synthetic, but it's interesting how it will behave on cotton. So
yeah,
so many things to learn. Still, I don't think that I'm a like complete expert in this. I'm just learning, just you, all of you guys. I'm learning, I'm trying, I make mistakes. I don't cry because of my mistakes. Just consider it as possibility of learning and exploring new things and trying.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about, is exploring and trying and having fun. I think that's kind of a big thing to it too, isn't it? Just enjoying that process. And some of the things that came to mind when you were talking about that is because one is I think it's called like a masking fluid. You paint it on and it dries and kind of creates a like a resist on the fabric. The other thing you could try is either drawing on it with like a white candle, so the wax itself would create a resist. So that's another fun thing to try too.
Yeah,
Oh,
even few things to try. I know that the masked fluid for paper, but I didn't know that it was used for fabric as well. So
it'd have
yeah,
to be an experiment.
we need to dig deeper and search what it was.
That's right, exactly. Oh, it's so much fun. Well, I'm super excited to have everybody come along and participate in your project. Your workshop is available on Thursday, the 30th of May. So almost a week from now. I'm beginning to get lost with what day is what. So that's going to be available for everyone to watch for free for 24 hours on Thursday, the 30th of May. And in addition to that, I know you've also provided a wonderful bonus. Would you like to share what the bonus is for people who want to buy the VIP pass?
So this pattern will be available on my free PDF, so you can download it and paint with me. But if you want to know to see the video instructions for stitching, for all the rest that to complete this project, you can download. You can join the VIP pass, and you will get additional version of this design. I store it in my project bags and I'm stitching it right now. And it's one more version. If you don't like bricks, you can stitch beautiful flowers around.
I love that. Absolutely gorgeous. It really is going to be so beautiful when you finish.
Yeah, I'm stitching it right now, and I'm gonna make a tutorial. It will be included in that PDF. I left the link to the playlist, and when this video will be ready, it will be automatically displayed under this playlist. So
Oh,
there will
wow.
be 3 video tutorials. So 2 videos are ready for this version, and the third one will appear later when I will finish it. I just need some time. You know, I tend to take too complicated projects, and yeah, it takes some time to finish, but it's gonna be
Does.
ready.
Yes, that's right. Well, you can't rush stitching. So it's just one of those processes that you got to sit down and enjoy. And I know it will. It looks absolutely beautiful when it's finished. For some reason, I must have imagined it finished. I think that's what it was because I can see it, the completed version in my head already. So it's finished as far as I can have thought.
Yeah, the same with me. I kind of see in my head how it should look like, but when you are mixing colors, you happen to choose different colors. You happen to choose different thread color, and you the final result is slightly different, but you never know how it will be, how it will look at the end, like exactly. You know, you cannot plan every color. It's very complicated. Sometimes um, when you choose colors before stitching, you think they look nice together, but when you stitch it, you may not like it. You can replace it. So feel free to use different colors wherever you like. Maybe you would like to make a different color of window, not blue. Maybe you like pink one, red one, doesn't matter. Like play with colors and make it like your own project, like your own vision.
Mm.
You can even change the color of your cat so it will look like your cat that you actually have, because this design was inspired by my black cat that I left with my mom in Ukraine. So yeah, I was imagining how he's sitting on the window surrounded by flowers. Everything's supposed to be blooming right now. And my mom has a really beautiful garden with lots of flowers, roses and tulips and everything, you know, can imagine. And it smells so good, you know, and that was reminding me my homeland. So this is what was in my head when I was creating this pattern.
Oh, that's really beautiful. And because I you preempted me, I was going to ask you what inspired you to create that design, and how lovely to have that connection and memories associated with an image. And I think everybody can also identify with the picture that you paint with, you know, there's something beautiful about a cat sitting in a window and flowers all around. And for everyone who's in the Northern Hemisphere, it's warming up, so we're starting to get beautiful blooms and enjoy warmer weather as well. How are your, because I think you have two cats with you now?
Yeah, I have 2 cats with me, and I had to leave 2 cats with my mom. I didn't include the stray cat because it was his pattern was too complicated to not overload the picture. But I will create another design for him for sure. I
Uh,
have another design for my gray cat. It's Bender. He is with me in Canada. Actually, this is him.
very
So
cute.
yeah, I decided. So maybe I will create a separate designs for each of my cats, and it's gonna be a collection.
I love it. And I've seen some pictures. You have a cat who really likes to help you with your embroidery. In fact, I think they might have been sleeping in your embroidery thread box. Is that the same
Yes.
cat?
It's another cat. It's Musa. It's a girl, and she likes to sleep where she is not allowed to sleep. So, especially when at night she steals something from the table, and then she's sleeping very calmly, peacefully somewhere. Like you will never find her until the evening, because she's like hiding. She knows that she did the bad thing, and she's like. You know, it's funny how she behaves. And yeah, while I'm working in my studio, usually she likes to sleep in my thread box. So I usually cover it with something so uh, I don't have to pull out a lot of hair. Like,
Yes.
it's a little bit problem because I use those threads for my stitching actually. So
Uh,
yeah, but I don't. But it's so cute how she looks right there. So I don't disturb her. I let
no,
her sleep.
absolutely. Yeah. There's a saying, don't, or what is it? Let sleeping dogs lie. So, a sleeping dog is the best kind of dog because they're not being a disturbance or anything like that. And I apply that to cats as well. If they're asleep, and even if they're on their embroidery threads, I will not disturb a cat that's asleep on embroidery threads just because it's better for them to be sleeping rather than being up and being like, how cats like to be part of everything, just like dogs.
When you try to to place her in a different place, she's like complaining, like meowing, like, why? No, I want to be here. Like, I understand what she's talking even.
Oh, yes.
So we understand each other. We drink from the same cup, usually. She drinks my water, she sleeps in my threads, like,
Oh,
she's living her best life.
yes, absolutely. Good company. We've got another comment coming in. So someone saying, birds also love to get into everything. Yes, I think they just like to be part of what we're up to, don't they? Part of the
Yeah,
what we're
part of
doing.
the process. They like helping, and but you need to always like make sure that your cat is not eating your threads because it's very harmful for them.
Mm,
So I don't leave like threads which are not winded in the bobbins,
mm,
and I keep an eye on it because it's not funny.
no.
They can even die. It's the same thing
Yes.
with birds. I heard that some people they tend to leave some thread ends that after their projects they leave it outside for birds, and they think that it will help to build the nests. But actually, their little birds they can stuck in those threads and they can die. Or yeah, it's not this. Yo, no, don't do it. It's bad.
Yes.
I really want to make a video about this and share it on my YouTube and everywhere. So it's not true that it helps to build nests for
Yep.
birds.
It's a good idea, and like you say, it's good to keep our animals and our favorite pets safe too. And we've got another message coming in, Cheryl saying, "I worry about needles too." Yes, yes, anything
Oh,
like that
needles.
little cats can get their paws on, or any animal.
Yeah, my husband, he's a biggest fear to uh, to get a needle stuck in his body, so I'm keep an eye on it as well. This is his nightmare.
Yes. I know that's true. And I'm the same. I used to be anyway. I'd just be like, oh yeah, just put down my needle, put down my pins, no problem. And that's totally fine when it's one person in a house and you don't have to worry about anything else. But when you have to share it with pets and with other people and all that kind of stuff, you do need to, well, either close the door or make sure things get put away so that they don't get into any mischief. I've got a
This is
cat
when
helping.
your workshop comes handy because you create a nice pincushion. This is the right place to place your needles. So yeah. Or you can
Yes.
store it in your needle book, like this one. I
Oh,
made for myself. All my needles are here,
gorgeous. Look at that.
and they sorted by different kinds of needles,
Mm,
like beaded needles, cross stitch needles.
how sweet. What a lovely collection.
Yeah, this video tutorial will come to my will be posted on my YouTube channel soon. So if you want to make the same, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube
Yes,
channel.
absolutely. That's right. And of course, join us next Thursday as well for your super duper workshop. I think I'm going to see everybody having lots of fun experimenting with watercolors and painting on fabric. And I think too, if because I always like to encourage people to use what you have, and maybe watercolors might not be in your creative stash yet, but you can also use just regular old acrylic paints, just watered down. They don't work quite the same way, but it is an option to put paint on fabric. Because have you explored that as well?
Yeah, I tried acrylic paint. I found special acrylic paints which designed for fabric and they are washable. When I was trying to create gradients like I did with watercolor, it didn't work for me well. But they are good to create sharp objects and everything else. So also, in my video tutorial, I will show you how to make watercolors washable for your fabric, so you can use this technique on your t-shirts, on something that you will be washing. So,
Oh, how awesome. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I can just see cats and flowers and all kinds of fun things happening now. So my goodness, the sky is the limit. Oh, well, it's so lovely to chat with you, Natalie. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm super thrilled you're part of the Making Zen Online Retreat. Is there any final words you'd like to share with us before we wrap up today?
I don't know, just join the event, have fun, and
Yeah.
explore all the techniques that different artists are suggesting to you. I'm super excited to see all the tutorials. I already watching them. I have a VIP pass access, so I will be trying maybe something and will be showing it in my stories. So have fun, guys.
Yes, absolutely. That's it. Have fun. Don't be afraid to play. And we will be guided by you on how to create watercolors on fabric, which will be so much fun. All right, then. Thank you so much. Much love to you. Thank you so much for joining in, and can't wait to see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.